Released in 1999, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is still considered one of the greatest strategy games ever made. Even after 25 years, players are still discovering hidden mechanics, secrets, and surprising details. Here are 10 facts you probably didn't know about Heroes 3. One surprising fact is how quickly Heroes 3 was developed by New World Computing. Despite the short development time, it became the most successful game in the entire series. Many fans even believe the rush schedule helped, forcing the team to focus purely on gameplay instead of unnecessary features. AI cheating. If you ever felt like the AI in Heroes 3 was cheating, you were actually right. On higher difficulty levels, AI opponents receive bonus resources and hidden advantages that the player simply doesn't get. This was done because, back in 1999, creating a truly smart strategy AI was extremely difficult. So instead of making the AI smarter, the developers solved it in a simpler way. They just made it richer and gave it extra boosts to stay competitive. The Necropolis faction became legendary in Heroes 3 for one simple reason: skeletons. Thanks to the necromancy skill, players could continuously raise fallen enemies and slowly build enormous undead armies. Over time, experienced players discovered strategies that allowed Necropolis to snowball out of control in competitive multiplayer. Some maps and tournaments even restricted certain Necropolis tactics because many players considered them unfairly powerful. A huge reason people still love Heroes 3 is its soundtrack. The music, composed by Paul Romero and other composers, is often considered one of the greatest soundtracks in gaming history. Even decades later, many fans still listen to town themes while studying, working, or relaxing. Heroes 3 contains countless references to mythology and classic fantasy stories. Creatures like behemoths, genies, titans, and hydras were all inspired by ancient legends and myths. Even some heroes, spells, and magical artifacts took inspiration from famous fantasy literature and old folklore. One of the craziest facts about Heroes 3 is that the game never truly died. Even decades after release, fans continued improving and expanding it with their own updates and modifications. The most famous fan project, Horn of the Abyss, added entirely new towns, campaigns, creatures, artifacts, and balance changes, all completely free. Today, many longtime players actually prefer the fan-made version over some of the official releases. One of the biggest reasons Heroes 3 survived for so many years was its random map generator. Every new match could create a completely different world with unique resources, enemies, and strategies. When combined with multiplayer, this made the game feel almost infinitely replayable, keeping players coming back again and again for decades. For a fantasy strategy game released in the late 90s, Heroes 3 had surprisingly dark creature designs and atmosphere compared to many other games of its time. Undead dragons, demons, vampires, liches, ghosts, and powerful necromancers gave the world a much darker and more serious tone than many modern fantasy games. That darker visual style became one of the biggest reasons the game felt so unique, memorable, and iconic to players even decades later. More than 2 decades after its release, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is still alive thanks to its incredible gameplay, unforgettable soundtrack, and one of the most passionate communities in gaming history. Very few games have managed to remain this popular for such a long time. New players continue discovering the game every single year, while longtime fans still return to it again and again. And honestly, that might be the most impressive fact about Heroes 3 of all. If you still play Heroes 3 today, tell me your favorite faction in the comments. Thanks for watching.